Think of the first time you saw people windsurfing or surfing in the sea. You could see the power of the wind. You could see the power of the sea. But it still seemed magical. So imagine what it was like in the 17th century, a time of the English Civil War, when there was to be a big battle fought in the town of Newbury in Berkshire, and the soldiers, the parliamentary soldiers, were foraging for food as soldiers will do, and they were larking about as young men will do, and one of them climbed a tree to get away from his fellows, and there, on the water of the river, he saw a woman, a tall willowy figure, but she seemed to be standing on the water. Well, this is a time in great belief in our country of witches. This could only be a witch. And she twisted her body this way and that, and seemed to glide across the surface of the water. He called his friends to him, and they came and looked. It could only be a witch. Now, on the other side of the river, some of the commanders of that same army were walking along, and they too saw the woman. And she seemed to be coming towards them. And then she saw them, and she twisted her body. And that's when they saw the piece of wood she was using to get across the river. And she twisted her body so that she was coming down further away from them. But they too were sure this was a witch. And two of their number, who were fine shots and good marksmen, they took aim and shot at her. But she just turned towards them from the shore where she'd landed and put up her hands and caught the bullets, one in each hand, and turned her hands over and showed the bullets to the soldiers and laughed. And one of them was so angry, he went running up to her, and he put his carbide, his ancient gun, against her chest and shot. And the bullet recoiled as though it was a child's toy. This was definitely a witch. What were they going to do? And then one of them remembered that if you shot a witch through the temple beside the eye, that would kill them. And so they rushed up to her, and two of them grabbed her, held her arms. And she just looked at them and spoke for the first time, and said that if it is to be so that this day I am killed, then His Grace, the Earl of Essex, will win the battle for the parliamentary side. And they shot her. And so it was that the Earl of Essex won the day. But that was not the end of the story, though that is what was written down in the newspapers of the time. Near the spot where she'd come to the shore, there was a little chapel. And all sorts of strange things started happening in the graveyard of that chapel, such that in time people wouldn't go there for the services, and that little church fell into decay. Well, then the people of Newbury, many years later, thought, well, if we made it a hostel for young people passing through the town, they wouldn't know the stories of all the strange things that had happened there. And so it was made into a hostel. And in time, they built an extension, a new bit of the building, across the graveyard, for a kitchen. And pots and pans started falling off the shelves, and all sorts of strange sounds were heard at night. In time, it was abandoned as a hostel, and again fell into decay, until Not long after the Second World War, the county council, the local authority, decided to build a youth and community centre there. Nothing happens there now, but when it was being built, all sorts of strange sights were seen, particularly by some of the Irish men who worked on the site. But even the English couldn't explain the piles of bricks which were delivered one night and were found still piled up the following day, but several metres away from where they'd been put. So it makes you think, doesn't it?